Lamb blood splattered all over the church doorway, as if someone had just dropped a leaky garbage bag filled with guts from heaven.
Here we also have local people continuing to follow Old Testament practice. They sacrifice unto God. And it's not a religious, this is blood here, if it's been a fresh sacrifice, because it's a cultural tradition, has really nothing to do anymore with religion. Sometimes we might not have a sacrifice for 6 months, and maybe in 1 week we might have 3.
Maria Khoury is leading me to the Byzantine ruins of St. George's Church on the outskirts of her village. It's a hot summer day in the Holy Land, and we are in search of the so-called Sufi Trail, which we are told links the small villages together. It's part of the Palestinian campaign to promote rural tourism. Down the hill here is the Jordan River, and we are on the west bank of the Jordan River, which is why it's called the West Bank, otherwise known as the Palestinian Authority. Now, when you come to the Palestinian Authority or to Palestine and you're doing a tour, you end up going to Bethlehem or Jericho or maybe shopping in Ramallah, but few people take the rural tourism route. Our first stop was Taibe, a picturesque Christian mountain village, and while it's the dead of summer, it's still Christmas in Taibe. Jesus visited this city, known as the biblical Ephraim, but today it's known for its beer.
I believe Jesus Christ made Taibe famous in the old days, and I made it in the new days. Now it's Taibe on the map. Taibe became famous. We make 5 different types of beer. We have a lager, we have an ale, we have an amber, we have a dark with 6% alcohol. We have a non-alcoholic beer that's very difficult for a small microbrewery to do, but we do it to please the fanatic ones who do not drink.
Okay. To help us find the Sufi Trail, we are joined by 2 young guides, Salma and Wafa. College students, they have just completed a tour guides course, and we are their first clients. We pass through the village of Silwad, where huge villas built by Palestinians who have made their fortunes abroad stand empty. In Yabrud, we stop at the local grocery for directions. Hoping to pick up the trail, a young man joins us and points out a holy tomb. Inside was what turned out to be a stretcher used to carry the dead. This is for carrying bodies. I asked him if he had ever seen tourists or trekkers coming through his village.
There are people who come to see our culture in our village. They come from different countries, from America, from Italy, Romania, Spain, Turkey. There is interest in us, but not like other cities, like Jericho, for example, which is considered the most ancient city in the world.
Off the beaten track gave us a great opportunity to see more authentic views of Palestinian culture.
This is tourism. This is what tells foreigners about Palestine, more than industrialized material things that they buy. Here is where Palestinian history was written. Here is where revolutions began. When tourists come, a great financial benefit could be gained. As a consequence, people will trust their village more, and they will be more active in supporting its cleanliness and renovation.
Heading to Be'er Zait, the local college town, Raed Sadeh, the head of the Rosanna Association, says that the new tourist paths in the surrounding villages will enhance rural tourism and bring more people to alternative sites in order to provide employment and encourage travelers to interact with ordinary Palestinians.
We identify a number of Sufi monuments, Byzantine churches, mosaics, Roman garrisons, prehistoric caves, and we design activities around them as long as we bring benefits to the villages that are in the vicinities.
We have arrived into Be'er Zait for their annual heritage fair, where local handicrafts are sold. The highlight was a traditional wedding aimed at showing the youth and tourists how it was just a generation ago.
Now, in the last few years, we are developing new styles of tourism, especially rural tourism, because Palestine has a very unique rural landscape, very original, still authentic. I believe that in the political context, rural tourism can be even stable to attract more tourists and to also generate more income for the communities living in the rural areas, which is very much needed today when we are talking about sustainable socio-economic development in Palestine.
I'm in Be'er Zayt in the West Bank, and the Palestinian Authority wants to encourage tourism to come to rural Palestine. There are no tourists here, mostly Palestinians. So it remains to be seen whether or not this endeavor by the Palestinian Authority is going to pan out. From the West Bank, this is Aryeh O'Sullivan reporting for the Media Line.